What's up, everybody? Once again, it is I, James, coming to you from the Nerdy Mewzings podcast studio. Today, I am joined by somebody who I follow on Instagram. I became acquainted with his work via his visits to our Uncanny Artmen live streams that we do every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mr. Dan Farruggia is in the house. What's up, Dan?
Hey man, just living the dream one day at a time, man. And it's just an honor to be a part of this. I've been following your podcast for a while. You've got some hella talented people that you get a chance to talk to and just really try to make connections with. And I'm just happy to be a part of that elite group. So for that, I thank you for having me on today. So
My pleasure, man. The honor's all mine. I'm glad to have you here. I know you're a busy guy, so anytime one of my busy artist friends makes time for me, it makes me very happy.
of course,
I can already tell looking at your statues behind you, we probably got quite a bit of commonality in our interests as far as our love of comics and animation and all the
no doubt.
beautiful things that are now glorified and not looked down on like they were when we were younger.
Right. As we were just talking about, yeah, it was very, very taboo to be into the X-Men, being into Spider-Man, Batman, all that stuff. And now the joke's on everybody else because the IPs of those franchises are just astronomical. And you don't really fight anybody who doesn't know who Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, the big three, I like to call them,
Yeah.
So joke's on them. We're here to stay,
And we're getting spoiled with all of the content we have to the point where I even have to catch myself nitpicking every now and again. And I have to remind myself, hey, we got to be happy we got all this stuff because we say like the typical old man back in my day.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
we didn't have these great superhero movies and TV shows and everything
absolutely
else.
Spoiled. Oh, yeah. And it's also, it's funny too, because it's just, when you have like the influx of like we got the Avengers Doomsday, we have X-Men 97. It's like, what a time to be alive to kind of see all of these things that we grew up with just come to fruition, whether it's animated, live action, that kind of thing. And just really having the comic medium as a, just being what it is. People are now talking about just the stories that are coming out of comics is very like, it's on a level of Shakespeare. People got to really kind of pay attention to some of the renaissance that's happening in comics and really trying to give it, like I said, give it the respect it deserves. And just having it be that true art form is just something that's just amazing to see evolve over time all these years, So.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the stigma that came along with it while being younger and being into these things. How far back did that go for you as far as your love of comics? Like, were you just a wee little one running around picking up books and getting, because I like to ask this because sometimes it doesn't always start with comics. Sometimes it leads, it goes from loving the animation and then wanting to learn more about the characters, and then you realize they come from comics, and it's like that's the gateway drug for some people.
Yeah, yep.
Or even like the Marvel, like the trading cards, stuff like that. So tell me a little bit about how you found your way into comics.
So basically, it's so I remember not to completely age myself, born in 88. I was very much around for the Spider-Man, the animated series, Batman, the animated series, all on Fox, X-Men, obviously being the gold standard of some of these kind of shows. But even before I got into those three shows, I was playing a lot of like just old school video games like Earthworm Jim, Pitfall, all of those kind of things. Like, what is this stuff? Like, how do I when I was immersing myself in those worlds, I would still go and try to like create my own characters, create my own stories on the side after beating these games and stuff like that. But then obviously tuning into, just like for having like the, the cartoony Earthworm Jim style, right? And, Pitfall was obviously like an adventure game where you just kind of, traverse different jungles and stuff like that. Age of Empires was also a big influence, and just like the whole gaming kind of brought me into comics, honestly.
Nice. Okay.
So just to kind of put that under that umbrella. So I was playing a lot of games as a kid, PC gamer, that kind of stuff. And I was actually been drawing ever since I was 7 years old. So that kind of took a dovetailing gaming and my love of drawing together, creating like characters, my own worlds and stuff like that. But then like, I've had good friends who have been always into Marvel comics. They're like, hey, Dan, you got to check out some of these shows, man. Like whether it's X-Men animated series, that kind of stuff, Batman, Spider-Man. I started watching those, and then, dude, that was all she wrote, man. As soon as I started watching those shows, I remember having my mom and dad buy me the like Alien and versus Predator comics back in the 90s. There was a stint where Venom fought Juggernaut. I remember having those comic books. I just started having them buy me all these kind of things, drawing inspiration. I'm just like, dude, this comic book love is something that's really going to have a profound impact on where I want to choose to go in my life for sure. And especially Dragon Ball Z. I tell people it's my favorite show of all time, and Akira Toriyama he's a big inspiration of mine and idol of mine as well. And I just kind of took off from there and started loving all of these things from the get-go when it came to that kind of thing. So
that's
a lot of fun.
Now you mentioned, drawing from a young age. Did the drawing begin before, like the love of drawing, did that start before you got into the gaming and the animation and comics, or was it kind of running in parallel?
So yeah, the drawing definitely came before the gaming and the comic book industry. I remember my mom, she tells people this story all the time. And then she would tell me up until 7 years old, I actually hated drawing. I hated coloring. I wanted nothing to do with it. And then one day she caught me drawing this tree frog off of this National Geographic episode. I think I paused. Like I was one of those kids where like I would pause scenes like as they were going on and started to try to draw them and stuff. But like this tree frog, for whatever reason, I started drawing the thing, and then it kind of just took off from there. And I started drawing just anything and everything before I obviously thought about video game characters and comic book characters. So yeah, that came way, way before just having that passion at a young age and kind of just seeing what I could do with it, so.
It's interesting you mentioned PC gaming and doing all of that when you were younger, because that was my jam.
Yeah, there you go.
I was on the original Wolfenstein and Doom on dial-up modem.
Good. So
dial-up modem playing with my friend,
You're hearing the sound, yeah.
Had a dedicated second phone line because this was before Discord.
Yeah.
And, I had to talk on the one phone so we could talk while we were playing the game together. People don't realize all this stuff that you can do now that seems so just, oh yeah, I just get on there and talk. It's like, no, we had to be on the phone on one line and then playing the game using the dial-up on the other line.
It's keeping it so old school, dude. You're just bringing back so many memories of just that kind of stuff, man. The way we had to make it work. So much fun, man. Such an interactive time to be a gamer too. When it came to just having friends over, playing N64 together, play like 4 a.m. in the morning, we would stay up. Like, not saying a lot of games don't have that kind of connectivity these days, but like it was just the 90s were just you just can't replicate those times, man. Just the way the world was in different times, the way. It was just such a different landscape than it is today. And as we talked about, kids are so spoiled these days, man. They really are. I don't think they know what they have. That's for sure. And games inspired my creativity as well, because some of our listeners and viewers will remember this, but they actually would release the level design software like for the original Doom. So you could create your own maps. Okay. That's good. I never knew that.
Yeah, and I would actually try to get on there and design maps and then test them with my friends and stuff. And it wasn't drawing, but it was another creative direction that gaming inspired in me. So that's really neat to hear how that inspired you to kind of change the direction of, the focus of the art that you were doing.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. And I remember my good friend of mine, he had one of those level design software. He would just drop things into like certain areas compositionally. And we would just take like, we didn't really have a character, but it was just running through it, testing it out. Such good times, man. And so, do you found yourself like building a lot of levels when you were a kid, or did you? Because I know
Yeah,
because you
I
draw
would
as
build.
well, right?
I was drawing as well, but I really got into map design, level design for games, and then that kind of
Very
led
cool.
me to being interested in like concept art and that type of
Mm,
direction, or creating video games. Like I
yeah,
have
yeah.
somewhere I have a ton of the books. You could used to be able to get the books on making a video game, and then I thought I wanted to get into programming, and like it's like took
Yeah,
me down
yeah.
all these
Yeah,
different
a lot of
rabbit
different
holes.
avenues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think had I had the resources that people have now that facilitate the ability to do that on your home computer very easily. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can download the Unreal Engine for free and have access to thousands of free assets and essentially make a game, for fun on your home computer. Back then, it was way more restrictive because the computing power wasn't there, and the video cards changed the game now. Like you can do all
For
this
sure.
stuff. So yeah, I think my career or my direction with art might have gone a different way had all of that been accessible way back then.
Oh yeah. And I was just talking about that, the whole like the way the tools that we have, especially in the YouTube realm of things, the self-learning ability that people can just find YouTube tutorials. They can go on lynda.com and get a subscription to be like an asset artist for an Unreal Engine. It's like we had none of that stuff, man. It
Yeah.
was not even a thing. It's just like the resources are so accessible. Yeah, anybody could be a gamer these days. Anybody or a game developer, game
Yeah.
designer. Just it blows my mind the way evolution is or technology keeps making those evolutionary leaps. It's wild to me. So
Yeah, we call that YouTube University.
yeah, YouTube. Yeah. And I've also been a student of some YouTube University as well for
Yeah, man.
Photoshop, that kind of stuff. Like I always have like, I like always embody a growth mindset. If there's something that I don't know, I'm always trying to research it, or if I don't know something, I'll try to reach out to somebody who does, whether it's, a software question or illustration question. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the resources are all over the place for sure.
Well, and when you were coming up with your art, those resources weren't as readily available. So when it came to your artwork and learning to draw and furthering your skills in your art, what resources were you looking to? Were you taking, like formal classes, getting trained that way? What was your approach to improving your artwork?
Yeah. So basically, um, I really come from a more of a fine art traditional background.
Okay.
I took AP art in high school, senior year, and one of my mentors, my art teacher in high school is actually somebody that I still keep in contact with this day. He was very much, I mean, in general, like college was obviously so pushed on us at, whether we were 90s, 2000s, stuff like that. But obviously, we have so many self-learning things like, these days, a lot of people don't really go to school and I don't blame them for it because how expensive it is. But
You made me think of I have an associate's degree in digital design, and it's totally irrelevant these
yeah,
days.
dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. So basically my mentor and teacher at that time was just kind of telling me, hey, like there's, you can do all of these cool, like, you can basically go through all of these different illustration avenues if you go to art school. So basically, long story short, I actually got my BFA in illustration in the Cleveland Institute of Art. I graduated in 2010. And actually, it's funny you bring up the concept art. Is that originally I wanted, like, I picked CIA because of their illustration program and wanting to get into concept art for video games. Like I wanted
Yeah.
to be, basically when I graduated. I mean, obviously the picture has changed a lot since then, but like I would love to have worked on like a God of War game for Santa Monica Studios. I would love to work on, well, I don't know, a Halo installment or
Oh
something like
yeah.
that, right? I think that was like every kid's dream for sure. So yeah, I did. So like I got a lot of the traditional fine art background from my mentor in high school, had developed those my the craft, if you will. at CIA and doing, I've been specializing a lot of like some of my artwork around like concept art for character design, video game design. I actually wrote my own story as like with my own characters I made up for my BFA, my thesis. It's called Reborn 221. Maybe I'll visit that one of the years of that one of these days. But so basically the goal was to graduate and get a job as a concept artist for video game graduating undergrad. But then, I moved home after graduation, and I actually was a concept artist for a couple mobile game companies here in the Rochester area, but it wasn't as something as permanent as I would have liked for full-time opportunities. So I had a lot of like contract work as a concept artist for some of these mobile game companies, also creating assets for the mobile game art for different agencies. And then eventually I'm like, I want to diversify my skill set. I want to learn 3D modeling. Maybe that'll obviously be more of a draw, just to kind of show some of these developers I can also do 3D modeling or not 3D, or, the video game companies that I've got more tools in my toolkit, right? So then it also led me into exploring the element of typography. And I basically, my day job is actually, I'm a user experience designer for a company called Gleason Works. So not to do a full dissertation of my the day-to-days from at Gleason, but I basically help our softwares become more user-centered and that kind of thing for like, whether it's like ease of use, human psychology, different ways human beings process information, that kind of stuff. But before I even got my job at Gleason, I kind of had like, I got my I did a lot of mobile game art, as I mentioned, for contract. I got my master's in RIT and visual communication design in 2014. And then I just got a lot of graphic design jobs here in Rochester, which I'm very, very grateful for. But then I kind of like was driving to one of my jobs at the time at Genesee Valley Bose's. I don't remember this. I feel like it's as clear as day. And I'm just like, you know what? I kind of miss drawing, man.
Yeah.
I took a 5-year hiatus and I don't really know why, but I'm just like, you know what? I started thinking a lot of like legacy kind of thinking. I'm like, you know what? Like not that I don't love graphic design, because I do. It's I've had a lot of different awesome opportunities, here in Rochester, but then I was, I'm like, you know what? Like, something just kind of like this internal fire just started burning when I was driving, and that's just like, you know what, like I want to get back into drawing. So basically I've been back into drawing now for 5 years now, and just trying to just get better and getting better at the things that I don't do well, and trying to really just, resurface my love for Dragon Ball, my love for Spider-Man, my love for Marvel, and just seeing where it goes, right?
Yeah.
So basically, long story short, that's kind of how I got back into drawing, was kind of having that epiphany 5 years ago. And here I am, like I just got my first variant cover for NiFe WARS approved. So like I said, see where it goes. I take a lot of commission requests these days, and just happy to be here and talking to you, obviously, about all of this stuff as well. So
very cool.
Seeing what happens, man.
It's only 5 years back in the game. Did the pandemic have anything to do with that, gaining that perspective? I know for a lot of people, our brains kind of went back to things that we loved and everything. Was that a factor for you at all? Like having that time to reflect? I know for some people, like, that's because 2021, we're still in it a little bit. Do you think that had anything to do with you going back and being like, man, I miss doing that?
Well, maybe, I would say it kind of the 2020 definitely reinvigorated my love for Pokemon cards.
Okay.
So I think there are a lot of people that did that. I started looking at some of my old cards and looking at some of my old figures that I had, but I wouldn't say it was like definitely a deciding factor in me getting back into it. But it was definitely like, I'm just like, you know what, like I have a passion for this stuff. It's laying dormant because I've gotten, like I said, graphic design has treated very, very, very well over the years. But like, this is the stuff I love, man. Like I know the concept art thing is obviously something that I kind of veered away from because of just my location, and obviously, try to apply to a lot of opportunities. And I wasn't obviously, some didn't really move forward with some of these companies. So I'm just like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna start drawing for fun again, man. Drawing for fun again and seeing where it goes, But yeah, it's just It's crazy. It's crazy the way life happens that way, you know? So yeah.
Yeah. You do quite a few sketch cards and things like that too, don't you?
Yes, yeah. So
I
I
feel like because I love your sketch cards, and
thank you.
do you follow Marvel Inc?
Love that guy.
Jonathan
Absolutely.
Levesque, yeah.
Yes, he's in
You guys,
Montreal. Yes, sir.
you're the ones I look at both your the way you do your sketch cards for inspiration.
Oh, thank you. No, hey, again, the honor is all mine that I'm even a source of inspiration for anybody, you know. So yeah, I do the one of one sketch cards for Topps Fanatics collectibles. Because basically I used to do them for Upper Deck, but Upper Deck lost their Marvel license a few
Right.
years ago. And Topps has obviously since acquired it. So I do like I said, the one of one for Topps. I participate in a Deadpool Chrome set. They just announced that I could actually post some cards from the Final Fantastic Four set. I just so stay tuned for those. I'll be definitely starting to pop those into the gram feed for sure.
By the
But yeah,
time
they're
this
officially
by
yeah.
the time this comes out, it'll be on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. And I do, yeah, I've done yeah, just so many Marvel one of one sketch cards for both Upper Deck and Tops, and they're all licensed and everything. So yeah, I'll do a lot of work with them to this day for sure.
How did that work come to be?
So funny, I one of my most underused social media platforms called ArtStation. Have you ever heard
Oh
of
yeah, I
ArtStation
remember
before?
ArtStation. Yeah.
It's so random. So I posted a Blastoise that I did on ArtStation, and the senior talent coordinator at Upper Deck was saying that he reached out to me in an email, and I think the way it was worded was like, I don't know if this is spammy, is this legit? Because you never know these days, like with
Yeah.
the ads that we get and all like the fake bots or whatever. So like I did some research. I'm like, hey, dude, this is all looking like it's legit. So like so the guy told me, hey Dan, I was in the process of looking for some Pokemon art from this other artist, and I came across your Blastoise and an art station. Would you be interested in doing some sketch card work for us? And I'm just like, well, not do that. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Everything looks so he found me on ArtStation from a Pokemon thing that I
Wow.
posted. And the rest was history there. You know, it's just wild. Absolutely
That's so
wild.
cool, man. Yeah, it just shows
Yeah.
you get your stuff out there, I think is a big theme like lately here on the podcast. Like I don't know if you had the chance to listen to the episode that I did with the editor-in-chief of Todd McFarlane Productions, Thomas Healy, but he was saying basically make sure you use the hashtag comic art because he says he gets countless texts
Oh,
from Todd at like 2 in the morning with a screenshot of somebody whose art Todd's seen on Instagram. And he's like, look how
it's
good
all
this guy
right.
is. Let's reach out to him. And
Yes,
that's
sir.
actually how Thomas Nalick got his work with Todd. And you know,
Really?
he's
Okay.
done all
Totally
the
noted.
ton of stuff for McFarlane now. So it's like you just never know who's gonna see your work nowadays.
Yeah, and people like to get caught up in sometimes like whether it's likes, validation and stuff like that. But like the views to me are they kind of just like you're getting as many eyes on your work as possible. Like that's what
Yeah.
obviously I love to see the most. It's just like I mean, obviously the algorithm is going to fluctuate bit given on, you know, a particular day because post times and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But just at the end of the day, like it's getting as many eyes, especially with like the hashtags, like you mentioned, I actually use the comic art one pretty frequently in my posts too. I'm glad I'm on the right
Right.
track with that. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
So
yeah. When you mention the views, and it's like, yeah, like you could have like only 10 views, but if one of those is Todd McFarlane and he likes your stuff, like,
worth a million in and of
and where they
itself,
don't get
right?
hung up on needing 1,000 views, right?
Yep,
It's just
exactly. No doubt.
just the right person has to see it, just like with your stuff on ArtStation.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I was on ArtStation briefly. I know I probably signed up on. I was always like on DeviantArt, which kind of was the same. They were very similar with each other back in the day. And then were you around in the days of forums, like where artists would hang out on like message boards?
I've seen my friends on it, but I never actually participated
Okay.
in the forums, but definitely well aware of what they are.
There
Yeah.
was a few back in the day. There was one called Pencil Jack. There was another one called Digital Webbing. And Scotty Young actually had one with a group that
Okay. Okay.
him and all his guys were on, and I was on Digital Webbing, and that was where like I met Ryan Ottley and used to chat with him on there.
Really? Oh, dude,
Ryan
that's so,
Stegman, like Ryan
yeah.
Stegman was on there. Like I remember like Ottley posting on there when he got his first, he got the Invincible gig and
That
all of
guy's
that.
unbelievable. He's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
but it was
He's
like
so sick.
it was the very early stages of people like getting their work discovered online and that
Yeah. Yeah.
becoming a viable entryway into the comic book industry. And it just seems like we're further evolving into that to where you don't have to break in a quote unquote traditional way. And it seems like everybody's story is kind of different of how they got
Right.
where
Right.
they're at.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. And like Instagram and social media, they, depending on how you utilize, how you showcase your artwork, it's basically an extension of your own portfolio, you
Yep.
know? And so like, honestly, I'm about to cancel my website subscription that I pay for on Squarespace because nobody visits that. No, I don't get any traction from there. It doesn't really do
Yep.
much for me. Where I see a lot of like potential clients prospecting, that kind of stuff is also through Whatnot. Whatnot has been huge for me. I actually just got on there in January, and I encourage if you're not on there, man, you would get like so much traction on your work too. Because your work is great.
Oh, thank you,
But
man.
yeah, of course, and
All
just
I
I
can
get
all I can see are the flaws. You know how that is.
yeah, I do that way more than I should. But
Yeah.
As Todd Beach would always talk about, is like also got to celebrate your wins too.
Yeah, my buddy
So
Todd, he knows what he's talking about. I think we should
he
listen to that
does.
guy.
I catch myself saying things that he says now these days, man.
I
Just
tease him. I tease him. I'll text him. I'm like, you're so meta, dude. Like metaphysical, like with these posts he's been doing lately.
yeah, yeah.
He's cracking up. He's like meta. He's like, I'm so meta. Like, yep.
Oh my God, that's great. And he's a prolific writer too. Like the way he
Yeah.
writes his posts also is a huge inspiration for me as well. And yeah, but just circle back to the Whatnot thing is like, yeah, like I'll get like I'll be just chat, just hanging out with the gang, drawing, working on commission works and stuff. And like people will ask me, hey, like, are you open for commissions and stuff? So anybody who doesn't use Whatnot in that capacity and worried about just kind of drawing kind of on as like, like a live stream sense,
Yeah.
and you're worried, but you're looking to break into the comic realm. Like there are collectors on there who are ready to spend money. Like, and just if you think your skills are where, I mean, obviously we're always evolving. I always kind of adopt the mindset. The quickest way to becoming a master is always realizing you're a student because
Mm-hmm.
it never stops. But like, if you get to a certain skill level that you feel comfortable enough to go on Whatnot and stuff like that, it's crazy to see how much success like people are having on there. Just, commission requests, sketch card requests. Like I encourage
Yeah.
everybody who hasn't tried it to please do. You'll see some crazy stuff.
Well, and I would say even if you don't think your art is on the level that it should be, like just try for the heck of it because art is
Right.
so
Yep.
subjective. Like something that you or myself might look at and go, "Oh, I don't like that style," or "Oh man, this guy's got a long ways to go in it." Like I know people that
Yeah.
collect all different levels of art, and
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
if it's unique and it's tied to a character they love or whatever it may be, like I think people would be surprised because I think like so many people wait to pull the trigger on putting their work out there like that because it's scary and you don't want to be judged or you don't feel that you're where you need to be.
Right.
Especially when it comes to like selling stuff, people think like
Yeah.
they got to be like up here to be able to do that. It's like I've seen a lot of people with, not the skills of a legendary pro or whatever
Yeah. Right.
do very well with their work.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that bring up his name again, but Todd Beach was talking about how like there is somebody out there who will like it even if you don't like it.
Yeah.
just like you mentioned as well. So he's like, just allow people to love what you do. And then obviously we're going to be critics. That's kind of part of our own worst critics, rather. It's part of the job description, but like, you got to also play in it too, man. Like I always try to remind myself, like if I'm, why, like I love doing what I do. And, like I want to make sure it keeps being a love of mine, and like
Yeah.
being that 7-year-old kid getting paid to draw some, like whether it's Wolverine or I'm going to be working on the Scorpion commission soon here. The Mortal Kombat. Scorpion's my
Nice.
favorite, my favorite Mortal Kombat character of all time. It's like, and like my
Yeah.
10-year-old me would be like, dude, well, this is crazy, like, so just, but at the same time, like always trying to get better. Like maybe that hand could have been better in a certain piece or whatever, but like just embracing those wins and always reminding yourself, like, yeah, like this is like, why do I love to do this? I also encourage people to do as well.
Yeah, it's important to keep that perspective and keep yourself in check.
Yeah.
Speaking of keeping yourself in check, how do you navigate that critical side of yourself as an artist? Like I mentioned, I can only see the flaws in what I do, and I know most of the artists that I know we're very much perfectionists. We very much, our eye always jumps to the mistake that we know is in the piece or whatever. How do you persevere through that in your own work?
So now I literally just had this conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago. I've always been a perfectionist too. And I remember being a 10-year-old kid drawing like Earthworm Jim or something, or a Super Saiyan Goku. And like, it wasn't coming out the way that it was. And I would crumple the thing up and throw it in the garbage. I'm like, this isn't healthy. I got to stop doing this stuff.
Yeah.
I got to actually just learn from the mistakes that I make. And obviously when you grow, when you get older, you realize like there's no such thing as a perfect piece, in my opinion. Like there's always going to be stuff you could do better. And I bake in now before I start any piece. I know I'm going to mess up at least 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
But I'm not going to let the idea of the 5 or 6 mistakes prevent me from drawing, because then you're not creating anything, and then that's not good, right? That's not a good thing that anybody should do. So like
you have to make those mistakes to find your way to the finished piece.
Absolutely. And for me, like a lot of the stuff that I do is like, I'm throwing things at the wall and seeing if it sticks. Like sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm just kind of on this own journey through every single piece. And like, sometimes when I'm drawing, it's like, I don't know where this is going. I'm mark making, I'm applying line weights and seeing and just living with the result at the end of the day. And, but yeah, I like, even like some of the work that I did in 2021 at the time, like, oh my God, like this is really, really cool. But now I'm like looking at this trunks I did, around that same time, I'm like, oh God, like I posted it with that there. Like because you can't grow unless your mind acquires new information. So I'm always trying to like, get better in anatomy, get better at drawing hands. Hands is always a thing of mine that I'm like, I think a lot of artists struggle with hands, but
dude, that's been me like, for the past week. I've just been practicing drawing hands.
They're good for you. You're a better man than I need to dedicate some time than just do that.
It's tough to make yourself do that though, because it's like, I'll do a page of like 20 hands and like, there's 2 of them that look decent. Like, oh, man.
And it's not sexy. It's not something you're gonna post on social media. It's more for your independent learning. But yeah, I just more or less, yeah.
Not to interrupt you, but along the same lines, when it comes to drawing hands, do you find you have like 2 or 3 hand poses that you feel fairly competent in?
Yeah.
That's like your go-to? Like
100%. I've got like a fist that does something. I've got this hand that does this. Like, but other than that, I'm like, I might have to take a picture of my own hand and try to draw. And there's no shame in doing that either,
I think that's probably where it starts though, right? It's just because you're building that visual library.
Visual libraries, huge.
Yes. You get a few different hand positions. You're good at drawing, and then okay, now let's work on a couple more, and eventually you get to the point where you got a bunch of different hand positions that you can illustrate.
And that same goes for even headshots too. Like there are a couple like 3/4 headshots that I do for like certain sketch cards that I know, because just through reps and reps and reps and reps, I'm like, okay, like if I'm struggling with a certain like headshot or neck placement or muscular structure placement, I'm like, I can always default back to like 4 different 5 headshots, props that work for me, hand poses that work for me, and stuff like that. If I need to get things done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, like visual library, yeah, I can't stress it enough. I'm trying to grow in certain areas, especially in like the lower torso anatomy and
Hmm.
leg anatomy. And I was actually talking to Marble Inc. about this. He's like, the quickest way to grow, and I really love the way he worded this, is that you need to like sprinkle in elements that you're not great at while also accompanying it with things you are good at. Because if you try to overload yourself on things that you don't have any kind of wherewithal about, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to probably not
Yeah.
enjoy yourself. So like I'm so slowly sprinkling in more like anatomy here, not going too crazy with it. But the way he worded that, of like, yeah, that makes so much sense. So much
Totally.
sense, you know?
Going back to YouTube University, did you ever view Richard Friend's channel? Did you
But I've
ever
never heard of it. No.
Okay, so Richard Friend is a very prominent inker. He's inked David Finch
Oh,
a lot of
okay.
David Finch's work back in the day. He was back in the heyday of Wildstorm and all of that. He has a good YouTube channel that he was posting
Yeah.
very regularly on. But I bring it up because I used to do he would do art critiques on his Patreon, or you could just like PayPal him and he'd look at your stuff and give you pointers. But he would
Hey,
create
I
a
would do
bit.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he would create he would say it was like, oh, you pay this much, you get like a 10-minute video or whatever of him going over stuff with you. But then he'd
Yeah.
send you like a 40-minute video and like go like above and beyond.
Nice. Nice.
And the reason I bring it up is because it goes back to the hand drawing. He was saying with hands that the biggest trick is to focus on the overall gesture, just like you would with a figure. Try to block in a gesture and then refine from
Yeah.
there, because people get very too detailed too quick with hands. Like if you go in and you're trying to draw all the different joints and things without having the overall shape looking right, it's going to end up looking wrong. So that was one of the
Yeah.
biggest pointers he gave me that helped back then, like get me to where I am, where I do have a few positions that look good, because
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
that clicked for me. I'm like, oh, and Ryan Benjamin was the same way. He would tell
He's
me,
excellent.
yeah, phenomenal,
He's so
and
good. That's
gives
insane.
back so much. Like if you ever, see Ryan at a con, like he just gives you so much time and will give you so many great art pointers and look at your work and sit there and draw for you and show you what to do. And
I would
but
love to meet him. Yeah.
yeah, you should if he's ever at a con you're at. But he was saying, like, he's like, just draw this part, like don't worry about the bend here, like make this middle section all one piece, like, and he had all these tricks too. So like
Yeah. Yeah.
extrapolating and combining these pieces of advice was very helpful for me. But
Yeah,
yeah, hands are
exactly.
scary.
I would never recommend somebody to just start drawing just one finger, then another finger. Like, get the overall shape language down and
Yeah.
try to, whether it's just like, if you're just drawing like just a line through one of the palms of your hands, and then just draw like where you think the knuckles are going to be, and just get that, like you worded it beautifully, get the shape right, and then map and then flesh out the details after the fact. But yeah, the overall shape needs to be where it is. And then
Yeah.
you build from there. Exactly.
But it ain't easy and it ain't sexy, like you said.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's hard, man. And I just feel like, yeah, even David Finch, he's like, obviously as prolific as he's been for his entire career. He's like, yeah, I even find myself taking pictures of my own hands and feel like, oh,
Yeah.
look right. So hearing him say it, I'm like, all right, I'm not completely failing here, because I do the same thing with hands. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been very liberating to be able to see those guys draw and hear them talk about the areas they struggle with, because
Yeah.
for us, they're like inhuman.
They're just from another
Yeah.
planet. It's
And
like,
I
yeah.
remember the first big epiphany I had was in the fact that Jim Lee erases all the time. I remember watching him draw on
You know,
Twitch and then like
I remember seeing something like that too.
doing something that you or I look at it, we're like, that's phenomenal. And he just like erases the whole thing or
Like, no,
erases a
stop.
whole leg, you know, or crumples it up and starts over.
It's every artist has their own, like, you know, they go through the same stuff we do, regardless of how long they've been doing it, which I've really kind of seen for myself, and obviously you have too. It's like they're on the same, you know, relentless pursuit that we're in. Whether, I mean, they're such masters at what they do and stuff,
Yeah.
but they have the same mindset. Like I'm still learning and will until, you know, one of these days the plug gets
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I get unplugged and then that's it. That's all she wrote. So it's cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as far as your current work, you did mention some projects you got coming up, but I wanted to kind of rewind and ask you, like, what was your first like big published thing where you like were like, oh man, like I'm really doing this, like I'm a pro comic book artist.
Man, honestly, it's probably the NiFe WARS that's going to be coming out in September. That's
Okay.
my first. That was my first. It's been going to be my first published comic book cover, which I'm just like, this is so freaking cool, man. Like I told myself, like in 2026, I would love to have a variant cover. It doesn't matter. I don't care who it's for. I don't care. I just want to say that I did what I got. I definitely have one to my name for sure. So like that's probably my pick. But if I had to do like a runner up, would probably be the licensed Marvel 1 of 1 sketch card I first started doing
Yeah.
for Upper Deck. I'm like, I'm working on something Marvel related. This is just like, I don't think like, this is real life, man. It's just very blessed. Very blessed. I'm like, again, this would be something that my 10-year-old self would probably be just thank me for, you know? So
Yeah.
it's so cool, man. And just seeing where it goes, you know?
Oh man, I'm so happy for you. That's so
I
special.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Now, you mentioned writing earlier on in the conversation, and that you some ideas and some things you'd written, and there's some things that may come out in the future that you want to work on. Like, tell me a little bit about your aspirations as far as like, I know you wanted to get a variant cover and all that, but as far as storytelling, are you looking to get some of your work out there and do some sequentials and put some stories out eventually?
That's something that I would definitely need a lot of time to grow and improve on. It's definitely sequential art. I did take a storyboarding class in my undergrad, and at the time it was just like a lot of just, I mean, it's just, I mean, because so many different things have to be taken into consideration, whether it's going from just a single comic cover versus sequential art. It's this whole other beast, right? I would have to really kind of dial in and start learning a lot more perspective. I got to start learning a lot more just like the unsexy things I draw that a lot of comic book publishers like to see, like buildings, broken
Yeah.
glass. All like I don't do a lot of that stuff right now. I'm trying to again sprinkle in sort of like, I don't know if you saw the Magneto I posted a
I
little while
did.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I started kind of sprinkling in like the, you know, the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters broken sign. Like I'm just like, I'm trying to just slowly kind of dovetail into that. So Quantrill, maybe yeah, something in the future. I mean, I know like developing my own characters. I mean, I probably wouldn't pay the bills as of right now for sure. But I mean, who knows? Maybe if I start to revisit my story basically, it was Reborn 221. It was about like a government project. It was like a super soldier project gone wrong. The
Okay.
main character had all of his friends kind of enlisted with him. These are his childhood friends and stuff like that. And they were all they all became amputees of war, basically.
Right.
And then they all signed up for this project that was almost like doing a deal with the devil, right?
There you go.
So the main character, who's based off of me, escapes, but all of his friends kind of become like these like not like these undead super soldiers, but they're basically completely controlled by this illegal government operation. Then he has to go and kind of fight his friends, which is kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically where I left it off at. I
See,
have like some vehicles drawn and stuff.
I
And
already
for
want
that.
to, I already want to buy it.
Hey, my
You
first
got it.
fan. I love it.
So let me ask you this, Dan. Does the idea of that scare you? Like the getting into the legwork to get to the point where you'd be comfortable doing sequentials and letting people see them.
1,000%. Yeah.
So
It's
that's
like,
so that's why you need to do it.
that's why I need to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, but there's so many things that need to be, that I need to grow in for
You
sure.
want you
But
you
yeah,
want
we grow on it. We grow doing things out of our comfort zone. That's the only way we grow as human beings. So that's, yes,
you want me to
absolutely.
make you feel a little better?
Let's
Because
do it. Yeah.
we got our buddy we got our buddy Todd Beats that we both look up to. Did
Oh,
you
he talks about that too. He
did
talks
you
about
hear what
sequentials as
he
well.
said? Yeah, he told me that he's same thing. Got a lot he needs to work on. And he's going to
Yeah.
document it on his YouTube channel live
Right. Right.
and take us all on the journey with him while he goes through that process, just like he did with his, original TikTok videos showing his progression and
Yeah.
drawing every day. So he says 1 week he's going to work on this, 1 week he's going to work on
Tree
that.
or something. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's draw trees. Let's draw buildings.
So
I
again,
can't wait to see what he does.
that relatability though, right? Like we were just talking about seeing Jim Lee make a mistake or what in a race and this and that. Like, I think like, again, it's just one of those things where we have to, we not worry so much about failing and just get in there and start to do it. Cause the best way to learn is through doing. So,
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah.
but sketch cards and covers, man, that's really fun stuff to draw.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
I would love to do another goal of mine, which would be really, really cool, to do an absolute Batman cover. That would be
Yeah.
cool. That
I
would
I
be,
was just sketching him earlier today. It's such a fun character to draw.
dude, he's just an absolute beefcake, man. You can go crazy with the proportions, crazy with the length of the spikes on him, man. Like,
You heard the trick, right? To drawing him properly?
no, what's what I
You got to
actually,
give him the little peanut head. That he's got to have the peanut head. That's I
yeah, you're
forget
not
which
wrong.
artist,
You're not
I
wrong.
forget which pro was saying, like, if you draw him with a proportionate size head for his body, he's still just normal Batman.
He's still normal Batman. And that
Give him
goes the
the
same for
little
like,
head, he's
yeah,
absolute Batman.
you can really up the scalability of characters like the Hulk, absolute Batman, if you draw their heads smaller,
Yep.
is what I found. And obviously, like shorter characters, well, then you'll have their different kind of have proportional ideologies you take into consideration. But if you want like a behemoth character, obviously make the hands huge, make the head small, make the front delt shoulder structure huge as well. And it makes sense why that works for characters like Darkseid. That's another
Yeah.
one. Hulk, absolute Batman. Yeah, just definitely some food for thought for if
Yeah.
you ever want to drop bigger characters. Just make that head small. Yeah, makes sense.
Now, earlier we were talking about like, how being into comics is cool, like using calling yourself a nerd is like a cool badge of honor thing
Yes, sir.
nowadays
Yes,
for
sir.
younger people. And it makes me think of the Absolute line, because so many young people who never read comics are getting into comics now via Absolute Batman.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Like my shop owner guy, he says all the time, like, how many people he gets in there looking for that book specifically, and then they leave with like 10 other books because it's like the gateway.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right? What do you think
And
it was about Absolute Batman in particular that struck such a chord and has brought all this new blood into the collecting industry?
so, yeah, I was actually just reading an article about why this has actually happened with Absolute Batman, is because you've got obviously phenomenal art by Nick Dragata. That goes without saying. That guy is unbelievable. He's just what he's done with with this rendition of the character. But Scott Snyder was not afraid to break down the traditional tropes that we all know Bruce Wayne to embody. The billionaire playboy, he has all the resources. He has all of, obviously, knowing the 125 different martial art forms, stuff like that. But like, I think that they were not afraid to tear down those shackles and build something completely new, which I guess a lot of creators nowadays, minus obviously Dragata and Snyder with their specific stories and endeavors, a lot of creators like to play it safe with some of these
Yeah.
characters, retelling the same manufactured stories, maybe subbing out a character here and there. But like what Absolute Batman did, he literally just like, I never thought Bruce Wayne could be this blue collar worker. His mom is a social
Right.
worker. His dad, I forget exactly what his. No, I'm sorry. His dad was
Dad was like a school teacher, wasn't he? Or
school
some,
teacher,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And it was just this grittier, raw Batman who had to basically build his own gear from scratch. People really gravitated to not reading the same Bruce Wayne story and Batman story anymore. So I think that really kind of encapsulated the fervor and the fandom for this entire line right now.
And I would argue that that only could occur with the type of visuals that they brought to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's what drew everybody in, pun intended there, was seeing that, gigantic, blocky looking, very anime style, manga-esque.
Yes, that's another great point. Yeah.
Exciting, action-packed, very 90s style, crazy visuals and everything else. I think that in the especially the anime influence, I think very much resonated with the younger artists or younger audience who are very much into anime and manga.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't, if you're going to draw from some Japanese and Western illustration, like, manga is obviously still such a prevalent source of media that a lot of people still read to this day. And like, when I saw the 6'8", 400-pound Bruce Wayne, I'm like, that was jarring to me. But I'm like, when he takes off the his logo to use it as an axe, I'm like, what is happening right now? And I was telling my friends, like, I wish some of these renditions of like the Joker and Two-Face were around the 90s. I think these are the best these characters have looked. I don't know if you feel the same way, but like,
no, I feel the same way.
It's
no,
crazy.
I feel like I haven't seen people this excited about Batman since the Dark Knight stuff, the first Frank Miller stuff, as far as something that just really was game changing for the character and for the kind of the overall comic book industry as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I definitely can't agree with you more there. Like just the way the Penguin looks and just the fact that like their origin stories, like they were all Batman's friends. And like, basically he, kind of everyone makes me think of Reborn 221 a little bit, and kind of, the friends were kind of involved in this kind of thing. And associated with Bruce Wayne, then Bane, I mean, I don't want to do to like, bring too many spoilers to the podcast for those who haven't read it, but it's
people
crazy.
Haven't read it by now. I mean, come on, it's been out for a while now.
Yeah,
at least
you can't avoid spoilers in this day and age. You know?
At least if you haven't looked at the first couple trade paperbacks now, you're just slipping.
Yeah, dude, you gotta step your game up, get your local comic book store, and get on board, man. Because I guess because it gets announced that show coming out, the Absolute Man was getting an animated show. It's like. Because I want to say I was too young for The Dark Knight Returns when that was out. So now like being obviously more in tune with what's going on with, being back in comic books again, it's like now I can actually experience what that hype was like here in 2026, so it's cool. It's really cool.
Now, are you still actively collecting and consuming comics these days?
Yeah, absolutely. I really am in tune with Ryan Ottley's Battle Beast run right now. That would be a cool variant cover to do too. He's a big inspiration of mine.
Put it into the universe, man.
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep drawing him until maybe one of the days I get the opportunity, but we'll see.
Are you digging Ryan's style experimentation he's kind of doing on this one compared to his Invincible work?
I haven't, so I'm not too caught up with like the current issues. I'm more of a volume guy. I like to buy everything and versus buying single issues. But what's he doing experimentation wise?
He's the way he's inking it and stylistically, it's slightly different. Like he's using a lot more like chunky lines and things than he did on Invincible. He's throwing in a lot more rendering because if you remember on Invincible, it was like very open line work. There was hardly like any hatching or anything.
A lot of detail. Yeah.
He was very much leaving it open for the colorist on Invincible. Yeah, it's some people like said they told me they don't like it as much. I love it because I remember back in the day, see, this is where perspective is important. Like Ryan's work when I was hanging out with him on the digital webbings forum, heavily rendered and hatched and like,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Huh.
so
Interesting. Yeah,
that
it's
was
going
the
back to
Ryan
it.
I was used to. And then in
Okay, okay.
Invincible, I think on Invincible it was kind of, I know he intentionally tried to not make it jarring, the jump from Corey Walker to his work.
Sure, sure,
And then
right.
slowly over time he started sprinkling some more of his own, style and tropes into it. But yeah, I feel like Battle Beast, he's really like going back to his roots. And
Yeah, yeah.
I can't help but dig it. I'm a huge Ottley fan. You probably heard me
Me
talk on
too.
here before, like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the other side of the screen on the wall here is the double page splash of them flying through
Oh
Viltrumite
man.
that was just
So
on last season of the show. Yeah.
so
The
sick.
original,
Oh my
the
God.
pencils are right there on the wall.
There you go. Every day you're in there, look at that for inspiration, man. Like
Telling
I've
you.
got, I'll also I'll look at that Battle Beast comic volume that I have. I'm like this, and so cool that like he was because Battle Beast was designed by Ryan Ottley. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
Yeah.
like yeah, apparently Kirkman's like, yeah, I want a bigger rogues gallery for Invincible. I want this big like white lion, sort of like samurai warrior kind of
Yep.
thing. Like, and so cool that like he was able to create his own character that's now like it's legacy defining. Like Battle Beast
Yeah.
is he's my favorite Invincible character in
I
my
love him.
I don't know if how you feel about your top two or three, but
If I have to pick two favorite Invincible characters, it's gonna be Battle Beast and
yeah.
Conquest.
Okay, I think so. You got to be eating good right now, man.
And
Then
you
with
and
having
you
them
and
face
you
off.
yeah, they're facing off now.
I
So it's
do, I
like
do.
best of
It's
both worlds.
crazy.
And when Ryan first announced the book, I commented on, I said, I guarantee him and Conquest are going to encounter each other because those two are like made to, they're both
You called
obsessed
it.
with, yeah, I'm like, it's going to happen. And he
Yes.
liked it or made some kind of comment. I'm like,
That's
yeah,
cool.
I
That's
predicted
cool.
it.
Yeah, you saw the future, my friend. Hey, you can take that to your bank. Anybody who asks,
It's,
be like, I called it. I called
it's
it.
just too obvious. It was like too obvious that those characters would have to cross
Right.
paths. They're both
They're so similar. Yeah.
obsessed with destruction,
Yep. Yep.
wreaking
Mirror
havoc.
images of each other. Yep. So
Yeah.
it's so cool. So cool.
Dan, what do you have on the docket as far as upcoming things that you would like to let people know to be on the lookout for? Obviously, I think the big one is going to be that cover that you're going to have coming out. When is that coming out?
So that's going to be coming out in September. And I basically got, so everything's approved. I basically had to submit the inks as one separate file for the blind bags for NiFe WARS and the colored version, which got approved. That's going to be its own separate limited run. So that's going to be coming out in September. I am in talks with I do have some contacts for some new variant cover opportunities. So there could be
Nice.
fingers crossed that some of that goes through for sure. And yeah, just keeping an eye out on. Yeah, I'm going to be working on some more sketch cards for Topps Fanatics. I'm going to be trying to break into some Invincible sketch cards as well. So that's also on the docket. And just still doing my commission requests. Right now they're currently closed and we opening them back up in August. But really, just just being a fan out here. Like I tell everybody, just fan out here trying to get better and doing the things that I love. And anybody who
Yeah.
wants to join me along the way, it just makes the journey that much better. And I can't thank everybody for their support in that endeavor. You guys have all just been absolutely stellar, and can't thank you guys enough. So
Well, I have one more question before I let
yeah.
you go today, Dan. So, traditional, digital, or hybrid approach? What is your preferred method in creating your art these days?
Oh man. So I have actually now that I've actually really missed the tactile traditional experience. That's honestly, and I've gotten feedback from some people. I actually did a little poll, like I like a digital. like, oh, would you guys prefer like digital or traditional, whatever? And they all pick traditional, man. I think there's something about the intimate kind of feel that you have with
Yeah.
a traditional piece versus painting on on whether it's like a tablet or like a Cintiq or whatever. And I feel like I get more obsessive with digital work. I could zoom in on the
Hmm.
tiniest level of details and be stuck in terms of like how I'm rendering a character. But like for me, I do a lot. I prefer doing Copic marker work these days, Copic multi-liner work these days, traditionally. So honestly, I've gotten out of the traditional phase. I actually did my NiFe WARS cover digitally, but
Okay.
I in a perfect world, yeah, man, I'm full back in the traditional game. That's how I started. That's how I kind of really got started in drawing, especially when my fine art background was all traditional. So but there is a place for a mixed media as well. Like, let's say you want to enhance some colors after some of the marker is down on traditional piece. You could scan that in Photoshop and really try to, enhance, X, Y,
Yeah.
and Z, this, that, and the third. But then at the same time, if you do that, you lose the traditional character because obviously now it's been altered in the computer. It's not the same piece anymore. So I have to
Correct.
say, I would have to say traditional, man. I just
Okay.
love getting back into that. Immersive experience. And but there is a place for digital. I've done digital a lot, but traditional has, especially with my customers and clients, that's all I do for them. I haven't gotten one request to do like, oh, scan in your uninked Batman and do me
Hmm.
and render me a digital piece. It's usually, yeah, I want the full Copic marker, colored pencil experience basically. And I totally get that sentiment. So
I have a theory on this. I think people are gravitating more towards physical things. And I think that
Mhm.
because you're seeing it with people wanting to purchase physical media, people are collecting records, people are
Yeah.
actually collecting DVDs and Blu-rays again in
Mhm.
droves.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People are going back to, and they were very upset about Sony's announcement about phasing out all the physical media. So,
A whole
given
other
all,
call.
yeah, given all of this, I think that the reason we're seeing that such a strong pull towards the traditional is because like anything digital is kind of getting more associated with AI, even though it's not.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
even
You don't
like
want that association.
drawing traditionally or drawing digitally has always had that stigma of it's cheating, even though it's
Yep,
like you
yep.
still have to draw it, like you still have to have all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
skills.
exactly. Yep.
But so it already had that going into it, and now people are getting that association with, oh, digital's AI. It's like, no, it's two different things, guys. Like drawing digitally and AI are two different things.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you got people out here combining both to where they're doing stuff AI and mixing it with their digital drawing. It's I think people want that clear distinction. Like this
Yes.
is an actual physical piece that this guy created straight out of his brain and put on the paper. It hasn't been manipulated or messed with.
Right, right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I
And
think
to
that's why we're seeing that strong shift to people preferring the traditional work.
and I see and a lot of people, some of my clients in particular, they love the feel of an original art piece. It's a one of one. There's nothing else like it, right? And I also get some comments as well about just, I mean, not necessarily comments, but more or less factual news. Is I don't know if you saw, but excuse me, this was like months ago. Adobe walked this back, but we have a bad taste in our mouths. But I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw, Adobe put out a statement like, yeah, so anything you do on our software, we basically own now. I'm like,
Yep.
I don't like that. I don't
Yep.
like that at all. I'm like, I gotta leave this sinking ship, man. Which is obviously another reason why I jump back in traditional too. I'm like, I don't want Adobe owning the rights to the thing that I slaved
Yeah.
15 hours for. Like, I rather know that whenever traditional piece I'm working on, that is mine. Nobody is nobody can claim it in any way, shape, or form. And it's like Adobe kind of put their foot in their mouths in that regard, and then
Yeah.
and they walked it back. Oh yeah, well we didn't really mean it.
We
Yeah,
didn't
you
mean it.
did. Yeah, you did. You got
Yeah.
the uproar. Yeah, you did.
We,
Don't try to walk it back.
we
We're not
meant
we're not
it
stupid,
until, yeah. We meant it until everybody got upset.
Yeah, exactly. Like you guys, man, you
Well,
guys are all killing
there's a
me.
couple new little kind of sneaky hidden settings in Instagram. I'm gonna have to send you the picture of which ones to turn off because they're
Oh,
yeah, when it
okay.
comes to
Yes,
like
send that,
your
please.
reels and things like that you post, they got a thing in there where it defaulted to letting them use stuff for AI. So yeah,
Oh,
for
yes.
the Meta
Please
AI.
do. I
Yeah,
don't
I'll
like
send
that
that
either,
over.
man.
As soon as we're done recording, I sent it to all my buddies who were like, we gotta shut these off because they changed how it looked. Because before it was like only the thing about letting people like remix your reels or whatever,
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
for certain content creators that want to let people make clips of their stuff to help, it helps promote their stuff. Like if you're a gaming streamer or whatever else, there's a benefit to that. But this
Sure.
added a thing where like, yeah, and we can use this all for meta AI, blah, 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 blah.
Oh my God, it's just getting
Yeah.
worse and worse out here,
Yeah.
man. Stop touching stuff. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh,
Well, my last thing I'll say here when it comes to traditional and digital, I like the Dan Fragga tradigital method. So
gotcha, digital. Okay,
I
okay.
like to go in and make my modifications and do my rough sketches and things digitally a lot of times,
Okay,
and
okay.
then print out the blue lines and transfer it onto a board or print it directly on a board, that type of thing. Because I feel like just at the point that I'm at in my art journey, I'm not as afraid to mess up, and it kind of frees me when I'm drawing digitally
Yeah.
because it's so quick to fix mistakes and clean
R-
things and adjust things.
The magic
And
of the undo button.
right. So it's
Yep,
like
yep.
this, but I prefer drawing physically on a traditional setup on the board. I love the tactile feel. So I
Yep,
don't,
yep.
that's, if I had to pick one, that's what I'm going to pick.
There you go. Digital. I'm gonna start using
Tradigital.
that. We have to patent that. Maybe get a license for that one, man. That was a
Dan
good.
said
That
it
was good.
first, so we got to give Fragga royalties on that one if we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it. I love it.
Well, talking about one Dan and then talking to another Dan, Dan Farruggia, this has been an awesome
This has been
conversation today,
great.
man.
This has been awesome, man. I can't thank you enough. And it's like I said, the honor really is all mine to be sitting here with you, man. This has been
Well,
amazing. So
I
much fun.
appreciate you, and maybe we can bring you back on when you're able to tell us about these other secret variant cover projects once they go through, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely. And that would be an absolute pleasure, Mine. Let's do it. Even if not, I'd just love to chat with you again about this, that, and whatever. Just have a good time and just have some fun. So
Sounds like
I
a
appreciate it.
plan. And I want to give you the spotlight here where you can let everybody know the best places to keep track of you online. I know you mentioned you have a whatnot and all of that. So the spotlight is yours, my friend. Let them all know.
Right, yeah, so I try to keep the handles consistent. I'm mostly on Instagram is my most used social media platform. You can find me all one word, Dan Farruggia, F as in Frank, ARRUGGIA underscore art. And you can find me literally on that handle on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel as well. I don't really post a lot on there, but basically Instagram to YouTube. I'm also on Threads, Dan Farruggia underscore art. And I'm also on Facebook as well, Dan Farruggia underscore art as well. You can find me on all of those, but I'm most predominantly on Instagram. So you can catch me being the most active there. So yeah,
Too easy. All right, Dan. Well, thank you again. Hang
thank
out with
you.
me for a moment while I talk to everybody. Everybody, thank you for tuning in today, watching or listening. Again, if you're already watching and listening, you know you can find the podcast on YouTube, video version on Spotify, as well as YouTube, audio version anywhere you like to consume your podcast content. I would encourage you guys to head over to patreon.com/Nerdy Mewzings for only $5 a month. You guys can get each week's episode 48 hours early, your name shouted out in the podcast, just like I'm going to do right now. I got to give a shout out to Mr. Brandon Paul. B. Paul Art on Instagram. He is phenomenal. Look for his book, The Adventures of Chuck Maxwell. Issue 2 is going to be coming out. He's actively working on it. And then we have another friend of the pod and a friend of the Uncanny Artman stream, Mr. Michael Gardner. He's It's Me, Mike G, over on Instagram. Make sure you check him out. He's an awesome artist. He sells stuff on Whatnot too. And in the meantime, everybody, keep it nerdy.